Here with some more perspective on this issue, ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Eliot Engel, and Republican Committee member, Representative Doug Collins. Welcome to you both, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Hello.
All right, Congressman Engel, I'll start with you. This morning, Senator McCain said that the president maybe doesn't have the right read on Putin. He says he's an old KGB colonel. He doesn't care about the U.S. or our relationship. Your response?
Well, I think the president has the right read, but I think Senator McCain is right. I think Putin knew what he was doing when he granted asylum to Snowden. Putin basically said he didn't care about his relationship with the United States. And I think that the United States has to fundamentally reassess its attitude towards Russia and towards Putin. On the other hand, Russia is an important country. They are helping us in Afghanistan to remove some of our supplies. And so we don't want to cut off our nose to spite our face, but I think it's outrageous what Putin did, and I think the United States should respond in kind. I think the president, by canceling that meeting with Putin, it was very appropriate, and I think there are other things we should do as well.
Yeah, and Congressman Collins, what should be those other things? I mean, there are a lot of discussions, not only in the Snowden issue, but Russia is regularly bucking the U.S. when it comes to votes in the UN involving Syria, involving Iran and its nuclear program. I mean, what tools do we have to, quote unquote, get tough with Russia? Do they take us seriously?
Well, I think the biggest thing here is not just this issue that is now considered got the president's attention, but it's the reset that was supposedly taking place where we reset our conditions toward Russia when they did not to us. I think overall, though, what other things we can do from missile defense to dealing with them and their conditions that they're working with in Syria and the problems that they're causing there, their relationship to Iran, I think this goes back to a problem of our own weak foreign policy. I think this is something right now that the president made a good first step. He said he's not going to meet with him, but it's not the first step this president has trouble with. It's the second and third steps when we're not effectively communicating a clear and concise foreign policy. And I believe that's what the cause of a lot of this is right now. It's our weak standing in the world because we're not decisive in doing things and standing up to those who, as the ranking member said, thumb their nose at us or stuck their finger out. Those are things that we've got to deal with.
All right, and Congressman Collins, while I've got you, I'll stick with you on this issue of foreign relations. Word this week from the president, I mean, he said that there is a sealed indictment with regard to Benghazi. We know because it's under seal, we really aren't going to learn a lot of information. You on the Hill may have more. Are you encouraged we're moving forward and making progress on bringing accountability for those who killed 4 Americans?
Again, here, if the president has shown as much passion about, in my opinion, 4 Americans killed in Benghazi as he has about the Snowden incident, then I think we'd have found out a lot more a lot sooner and we'd be further along where we are. Transparency is still lacking here. They've still not, the administration is still not answered questions from subpoenas from our committees on this issue. And I believe what we've got to look at here is, yes, there's an indictment and that's great, but there's also an indictment on bin Laden that took years to fulfill as well. We've got to continue and push this, and we found many holes in the stories as we continue to dig into this. Benghazi should never have been off the front page. We're going to continue to seek answers because we have 4 Americans who were killed, and we have our Americans overseas right now who need to know that America is looking out for their security interests. And I think, again, it just goes back to a weak foreign policy statement that is not consistent and is not overall thought out very well.
And Congressman Engel, I just want to cite a brand new poll that we have on Benghazi and whether or not folks believe the Obama administration is engaged in any kind of cover-up. 62% do believe there's some kind of cover-up. 27% say they believe that this administration is being open and transparent. Your take on whether this indictment moves us closer to justice?
Well, look, I'm 100% for finding out what exactly happened in Benghazi. What I'm not for is politicizing the issue, which I'm afraid some of my friends on the other side of the aisle have done. When foreign policy, I believe, should be bipartisan, and as Americans, we all grieve for the brave people who were killed. I want to get to the bottom of it. We want to make sure that it never happens again. That's the main important thing. There have been a whole series of changes that have been adopted to try to make it sure that it wouldn't happen again. And that's what we need to concentrate on. I mean, I think the closing of our embassies over the past week is a direct result over what is acknowledged that mistakes were made in Benghazi. So I think we've got to give the administration credit for trying to react and trying to move forward. I think it's very important that we stand united, not try to score political points out of an American tragedy.
All right, and just a show of hands from both of you. We've got to leave it there, but I got a quick last question for you. You don't even have to say a word. I just want to see a show of hands. You're home for the August recess. Raise your hand if you're having any kind of town halls or public meetings where folks can talk to you. All right.
Can you see my hand?
We
Okay.
thank you both, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We know your constituents appreciate it, and we know it's important. So we have to leave it there. But good luck, and let us know what you hear from those August town halls. Thanks a lot.